So, hi guys, we're going to have a look at the new Mac Pro that I picked up. We're going to see how the 980 kind of improves gaming on this machine, and I'm going to give you a few pros and cons of having this on a Mac. First off, I'm going to give you a few cons about doing this with a on-sport card. The main con is you will see that it says 4 gigs of RAM on your system preferences. That is true. Nothing goes past, or nothing will use that card past its 2 gigs, especially games. OpenCL and OpenGL are locked to 2 gigs. The only reason why I found this out was I was using benchmarking tools and they were coming up as 2 gig 980, and I was just watching this going, what the hell? But yeah, apparently certain things that are going on in the background will not allow your 980 to run past 2 gigs. Now you're asking me why the hell did they bother putting the 4 gigs up there? It's because it's a 4 gig card. I'd say the only reason why you'd put this card in this machine is to run Windows as your gaming other. So you can just switch between any time you want, and the overclocking is an option in Windows and all the rest. Basically, when you're using this machine in Windows, it is a full-fledged Xeon PC. In the Mac world, you're only getting the use of 2 gigs, and I find that a bit of a dick move. I can't believe Nvidia have actually kind of allowed people to think that they're actually getting the full 4 gigs out of this. Anyway, another con on this is I do believe that the Nvidia drivers are letting the card be underclocked. Now, I don't know why this is the case. Basically, I'm not getting even a quarter of the performance that I'm getting out of Windows 10, and it's kind of bad. So it is, considering how much you pay for a card. You kind of hope that Nvidia, if they're going to bring something out, that they're going to, the drivers that they're bringing out as well, is going to unlock the card, not just pretty much let you use it in the Apple sphere. That hasn't been the case, so it's something that you have to kind of deal with. But besides that, you got full I/O support at the back of the card, so I have my full display. All the display ports are working, the HDMI is working, and the DVI is working. So they have gotten out there and kind of gotten that working. I remember at one stage when Kexts were the only way of getting these things to work. You would have certain ports that weren't working, and even if you firmware modded your card, you'd have dead ports and everything. Finally, Nvidia have fixed that, and I'm getting full port support since I was using the Mac Pro 1.1. Now, as for the upgrade that I did get an upgrade. I did do an upgrade. I have a 2009 Mac Pro now, and it is boss. So it is actually pretty good. When I bought it, it came with an ATI 5870. No, 5770 Mac Edition card, and it came with a GT 120 Mac Edition card, which I still have. I sold the ATI card because I didn't really need it, and it was going for a good price online. But I still have this. If you are doing a Mac graphics card update or upgrade, keep your card. Trust me. This thing here is good for diagnostics. If you ever have a corrupted OS on your machine or anything like that, keep at least one Mac Edition card, just so you can just slot it in, and lo and behold, there's your full system. I've come across people who have just literally sold this thinking, I don't need this anymore, just get rid of it. Keep this. You need it even though you're not using it. I've needed to use this several times, so I have trying to set up this entire system the way I like it. And yeah, also Macs don't like to run the 120 with a PC card because they make out the 120 turns into the dedicated card, and my 980 was being a bit of a pain together. They weren't working right at all. So, besides that, let's have a look over the machine. Let's have a good overview. I'll explain the specs. I'll say what we're looking at, and I'll do a bit of gaming probably in another video. This is just literally an overview right now. Right. So, I'd like to point out this machine looks nearly identical to my old machine. If we're looking at the front here, you'll see that there is no Firewire 400, but there is another EVGA sticker. Yeah, I went for an EVGA 980, so I like to advertise that I've got nice products in my rig, just like any PC owner. So if I'm to pull this out, luckily enough, Mac OS X is running on my SSD, my new 200 gig SSD. So just gonna pop her open, and you see the glow. So we're gonna go down the text. We're gonna go down the specs of this machine. It's very, very simple. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause this and then bring back the light. So, bringing back the light, we have my GTX 980, beautiful card. Not the most powerful card out there anymore. When I had my first video out, it was the card, but sadly, the TI and the Titan is out, so yeah, oh well. But a beastly card at that. What we have down here is my two quad-core Intel Xeon CPUs. These two little beasts are they support hyperthreading, so we have 16 threads in this machine. It literally decimates my old rig, so it does in CPU performance, and it does make a difference when I bring it to when I kind of you know, put it head to head with my old machine. It's definitely a performance boost. If we're looking at RAM, we have 40 gigs of RAM. There's a couple of 8 gig DIMMs at the front, and there's a couple of 8 gig DIMMs and 4 gig DIMMs in the back. So we have 40 gigs of RAM with 2 DIMMs not populated. This machine came with the 40 gigs of RAM, so it did, and I will be showing you that in a second. But when I got it, it had 44 gigs of RAM. Sadly enough, one of the crucial sticks decided to die, and intermittently it would pretty much come up as a red LED and would show up as not detectable, and sometimes crash my machine. So that was a bit of a that wasn't great. Also, I had USB 3 connector in this machine, or USB 3 PCIe on this machine as well. Slowly but surely, I was taking all the good things out because the USB 3 PCIe was working fantastically, and then El Capitan doesn't support it anymore. So yeah, that wasn't great. So what do we have here? We have 200 gig SSD, 2 terabyte hard drive for Windows, Mac, Windows. These two here, 2 500 gig hard drives that came with it, and I couldn't bring myself to just chuck them out. If I do find anything like another, or if I do end up buying another 2 terabyte hard drive, I'll just take one out and just keep it as local storage, or stick it into a NAS. Anyway, as you may see, it's quite a beastly little machine. And I will say little because a lot of the desktops that I've seen nowadays that are coming out are actually quite large. I don't know what the hell I remember large was a big thing back in the early 2000s and 90s, but I've never gotten into big, massive monster machines. The giant squared off ones with fans down one side and your whatever down the other. I just don't like it. I like small and nice. sturdy, and with a full aluminum shell, you can't go wrong. And I do prefer this over the new Mac Pro any day, no problem. Especially with Apple cheaping it with ATI cards. I'm gonna get some bad comments over the saying that, but to be honest, I work as an Apple technician. My biggest customer right now is a quality program on ATI cards, and it's always ATI or Seagate that fucks up on Apple products. ATI or Seagate, ATI or Seagate. Anyway, I have my own gripes with ATI and Seagate. The main reason why I don't use them. So my recommendation, guys, don't cheap out with the ATI cards. Pick up an NVIDIA cards. They're nearly all supported now on Macs, but not fully supported, if you know what I mean, with that 2 gig issue. Anyway, this is my desktop. We are going to go through the specs right here about this Mac. As you may see, it's quite snappy, and as you may see, I have El Capitan installed. So this is a 2009, early 2009 Mac Pro. 2 Intel Xeon quad cores, 40 gigs of RAM, the NVIDIA GTX 980, and there's my serial number. If you copy my serial number, I don't care. It doesn't bother me. It's very, very hard to actually copy someone's serial number onto a machine because the logic board is serialized and I don't care. You'd want to be an Apple reseller or an Apple store to be able to change your serial number. So yeah, anyway, what we're looking at here is my Mac 200 gig SSD, the two 500s, there's storage 1, storage 2, and my 2 terabyte hard drive. So this is purely games, like literally pure games. Don't ask me how I filled up so quickly, but that's all games. Anyway, and we have my Blu-ray drive, which is here, and my optical drive. So, as you may see, it's a fairly specced out little machine, or yeah, well, moderately big machine. So, what you're probably wondering is, can it game? Well, let's see. Let's have a look at that. So, we're going to see how this performs in OS X first. I do believe it's decent enough benchmarks out there for OS X. So let's go with Nova Bench. This is one of my all-time faves. Close all these applications out because you want to. Yeah, there we go. So my machine is detecting as a Mac Pro 5.1. So it does. So yeah, as you can see there, my Mac Pro detects as a Mac Pro 5.1. Now, the reason for that is the machine itself, I firmware modded it. So in the near future, if I want to upgrade the CPUs, I want to upgrade the RAM to 1333, it's possible. It will take 1333 RAM because there is literally no freaking difference adapter wise. Like, they made no difference besides CPU upgrade, and like there's no socket difference or anything between 1333 and the latest CPUs on the 2010 model and somewhat the 2012. So Apple didn't change jack shit all that time, which is kind of funny. So let's do this. We're going to run a benchmark while dogs go nuts outside. So, this is our score. Yeah. So, as you may see here, the score isn't great. I would be more so wanting more out of my machine for the graphics anyway. Yeah, that's not fantastic, to be honest. So it does decimate still my old Mac Pro. My old Mac Pro only used to get, well, not really decimate, more so just got more points. My old Mac Pro used to get 111. So 1111. That's what it used to get. So I don't know what way to take this. Like, it's blatantly a 980 and it's getting the same scores as a card that's like a GTX 660. I would compare that to. I'd compare it exactly to a GTX 660 because I owned one and I've done this benchmark before. So, we're going to zoom out here. And we're going to try a different test. Close and close. So we're going to try Heaven. Run. So this is Heavenly benchmark. This is one of those optimized benchmarks. So this is going to be running off OpenGL, and as you may see, it's kind of smooth. Yeah, we're in about the 52 frames on this. So I will run bench. So we are getting about 40 frames per second on this. So, this is our score. It's not bad actually. The lowest we went was 8.9. Highest FPS was 117, and we averaged 55.7. It's not bad actually. That was a bit more of a surprise. I actually got that type of performance out of that benchmark. Before I've gone a lot less, but yeah, kudos to OpenGL. So, what we're going to do is zoom back out. Yeah. Close that. So, right now, games wise, I don't usually install on the Mac due to just not being properly ported to Mac. But I have Dirt 2. We'll see how that runs. And yeah. By the way, guys, I have not played much on this machine, so my whatever I'm viewing here is probably close to what you are viewing as well, which is so enter. Okay. The load screens is terrible in this game. So, enter. So, what are we doing here? So, we're going to go options, graphics. Everything's all ultra. Let's run benchmark tests. Confirm. As I said, this loading thing. There we go. Average 36, not so bad. Could be worse. Average. Doesn't say give you the maximum, that's the only thing. Continue. By the way, all this stuff here, it's not pre-rendered. Literally this menu would lag up my old machine. Just having exit there. Just having all these people. These are not pre-rendered, these are all on the fly rendering right now. So definitely a big difference in CPU performance on this machine. I think that was the biggest drawback of the old Mac Pro 2006 was the CPUs were old as hell. So guys, one last thing that I want to tell you is just been playing around with this for a while. I wanted to see, does my 2009 Mac Pro with El Capitan have metal support? So I did a little bit of looking around the internet. I'll leave a link in the description, and I found this program. So what I'll do is I'll open up, and there we go. This gives me my metal, what I have, well, pretty much specs wise on metal. And as you may see here, I'm just going to pull this out, and we're going to have a little direct. There we go, zoom in. As you may see, metal device name, NVIDIA GeForce GTX 980. Lower power device, no. Headless device, no. So it is detecting metal on my GTX 980. So if that's not kind of interesting, I'm not sure what is. And yes, this is my same machine. I'll leave a link to this in the description, so I will. This program, it was released by an Italian guy as far as I remember. And yeah, if you want to check out what your status on your machine is, what you are looking for is metal device name and to have your graphics card there. If it doesn't have your graphics card there, then you don't have metal. Anyway, thanks for watching guys. Cheers, bye.